Hi, Taurus. Hope you guys are doing really, really well. My name is Brian. I am your queer psychic bestie, and I have a reading for you guys today. This is going to be a monthly forecast for the month of September for the sign of Taurus. So, if you have Taurus anywhere in your chart, maybe you vibe with Tauruses, you could be a cross watcher, whatever the case may be, this reading may resonate for you. As always, take what resonates and leave what does not. This is the internet. Um, if you guys would like to book a personal reading with me, you can do that through email or form submission on my website. Taurus, we are going to be doing a Celtic cross for you today. So that gives me the widest kind of look at your month ahead. We'll be talking about pretty much everything, whatever comes up, whatever your guides want me to talk about, and we'll really go from there. So let's get the rest of the cards out and then we'll get started. Hope you guys are doing well. I think I said that in the beginning, but it still stands. I hope you guys are all well. All right, two more. Thank you. Okay, cool. Interesting, Taurus. Interesting. All right, let's dive in. Bottom of the deck is your challenge, represents what you're not seeing, what you're not looking at. You've got the Eight of Swords, you've got Death, and you've got the Devil. Taurus, we've got a tough challenge this month. So when we're talking about these cards, your general challenge here, it's a little bit not very specific. It's a little bit broader because we are talking about getting rid of or facing self-limiting beliefs. With the Eight of Swords, it feels like for September, Taurus, you guys are really going forward and tackling the ways in which you're sort of limiting your own life right now. Okay, the Devil talks about chains that we can't escape from. The Death card does not talk about physical death, it's death of the ego. And the Eight of Swords is another card of feeling trapped. So right now, you could have gone through August and maybe you're coming out of August feeling a bit trapped, feeling a bit limited, not feeling like you really have the greatest grip on your world right now, because that's kind of how this is kind of coming through. It's this general feeling of I don't have a handle on things right now. And so it feels like as we push into September, you're confronting these thought patterns and you're confronting this way of thinking and this way of talking and just this overall general belief system that you're holding of I can't do it, I'm not good enough, I'm not resourceful enough, all of these things, okay? So, let's get into it. You start right off the bat with the Emperor, so I do love to see this, Taurus, because the Emperor is the divine masculine, right? So he is the planner, he is the action-oriented. When we're talking about divine masculine, it is the active of the two the divine feminine, divine masculine. The masculine is the active one. He's the one who's going out. He's setting, like I said, setting a plan, but sticking to it. It's very like, this is not the word that I want to use, but it's the word that's coming through, which I think it's odd for me, so I'm going to say it, but it's progressive. I think when we hear the word progressive, a lot of us think like forward thinking, but I think your guides are being quite literal with me today in that you are progressing when you are in this Emperor energy. You are moving forward. It's sort of like the way they're showing this to me is so funny. I've never played with a Ouija board. I will discourage all of you to play with Ouija boards, but they're showing me like if you had a Ouija board and you pushed the little triangle thing, right? Like that sort of divine masculine energy. I'm pushing it forward. I'm moving it forward. Your crossing card, now the crossing card in the Celtic cross is either a help or a hindrance. The Five of Cups as a crossing card is definitely a hindrance. It feels like, Taurus, you are dealing with the Five of Cups for me as a reader does talk about internalized shame and internalized regret. So when we're talking about shame and regret, these are not organic feelings, right? We're not born feeling shame and regret. We feel them because someone looks at us and they point at us and they tell us, hey, Brian, you should regret those face tattoos. And so as a result, we then do because we're told to. How we can then mitigate feeling shame and regret is by removing the lens of judgment with which you're looking at everything with. Okay? Because if you think about it, when I judge myself for, let's take the idea of decisions, because the Five of Cups does talk about decisions. If we say bad or good decision, what happens? What am I doing? I'm judging the decision. Let's say you judge your own decision. You said, wow, that was a really bad decision that I made. What then creates or becomes created? Regret. Feeling like, oh, I wish I could go back and change that. Okay? Like I said, you mitigate this by simply removing that lens at which you're looking at your decisions. So, Taurus, part of your homework I would give you, if I could be so bold to give you homework this month, is that I would encourage you to move away from bad and good decisions, bad and good emotions, bad and good choices, right? All of these things are their judgments that we're making, and that judgment that you're making is creating more of an opportunity to feel stuck. Do you see what I mean? When you tell yourself you made a bad decision or bad choice or judge something you've done, you create the opportunity for that mental prison to remain, that Eight of Swords, right? I'm feeling a little bit under the weather today, guys, so if I'm a little sneezy or a little congested, that's why. I'm trying really hard. Anytime you see me touch my nose, it's because I don't want to sneeze. Clarifications. Okay, we've got the Eight of Cups, the Ace of Swords, and the Four of Swords. Yeah. I think something else you guys are realizing is that in order to sort of nip in the bud this way of thinking, you also have to nip in the bud where the thinking comes from, right? Let's say you have a cold, for instance. I can blow my nose all day. I took my Zyrtec, I can do all of these things, but if I'm not getting rid of where the cold came from, let's say you could take an antibiotic to cure a cold, one day maybe. If I don't take that antibiotic, guess what? I still have a cold. I'm just managing symptoms. What you guys are realizing is that every time you sort of just, how do I say this? Sidestep the issue, you're just managing symptoms. If you're not looking at what's actually making you have these self-limiting beliefs, where they're actually coming from, are you really actually looking at them? Or are you, what I like to call it, putting a band-aid on a bullet wound? Are you just sort of softening the blow and not really dealing with it? The Ace of Swords and the Eight of Cups is a call to see something, say something, and then move away from it. Okay, that's where this is really coming down to. That Four of Swords is healing, so you will need to, obviously, as we process harder emotions, more difficult emotions, maybe they demand a little bit more of us, we're going to need rest. Four of Swords is rest, relax, recuperate. So I would strongly suggest doing some rest here as you process and as you move forward, okay? In your headspace, you do have the Two of Cups. Some of you could be partnered. It feels like with the Two of Cups, maybe you have a partnership, romantic, business, or otherwise here that's showing up in your energy right now. For a lot of you guys, this feels... I'm not going to say that. I was going to say for a lot of you it feels romantic, but for a lot of you it just feels like there are partnerships here for you. Okay, King of Cups. Maybe I was right. Maybe for a lot of you it is romantic. Five of Swords. Why are we self-sabotaging? And the Four of Cups. Oh, okay, Taurus, to see what's going on here. I think some of you guys are definitely dealing with some hyper-independence. It also kind of feels like some of you guys may be... When things start getting tough or things start challenging you, like this month is going to challenge you. Some of you guys have a tendency to isolate. You sort of pull away from romantic partners, friends, good connections here. And with that King of Cups, I feel like it's because you're dealing with the belief system here, Taurus, of like, I can't handle it. King of Cups is like emotional management. You know, Queen of Cups is feeling the emotions, getting deep down into it, but then King of Cups is like, well, can I ride the wave? Can I manage this? Can I withstand the storm? So it feels like to me, some of you guys here, I would be very weary in this month of September of being aware how much you are actually moving away. How much are you pulling back from your community when things are getting a bit difficult here? Because it feels like that might come back to bite you a little bit. With that Four of Cups, I think you guys also have this need to appear very put together and very strong. It's like this facade that you have, and I feel like that facade is going to take from you this month. Like, withholding it and maintaining it is going to take so much more than you anticipate this month, instead of just simply letting it down and opening up to people, right? Because even in your physical world, you have the Seven of Pentacles. So for a lot of you guys, things have been the same for a while, is what I'm hearing. You know, Seven of Pentacles, you've been putting time, effort, and I don't have another word for effort, so I'll say effort again. You're putting a lot of effort into your world and like the things that are required of you, but at the same time, it feels as if you're still not fulfilled here. It feels as if there's still almost like a question that's sort of like hanging in the air around you that maybe we haven't really looked at. We haven't really addressed. Let's see what the question is. High Priestess, yeah. It's like something your intuition has been nagging you about, is what I feel. Why is this card backwards? That's weird. The sun was backwards? That's weird. Huh. It didn't even fly out of the deck, it just showed up on the bottom of the deck backwards. So maybe this has to do with your happiness. Nine of Swords, Page of Wands, and the High Priestess with the sun backwards there. I think some of you guys, and this is going to be a little bit of a abrasive statement for me to make, but my guides want me to really make it clear for you. Some of you guys have lost sight of your own happiness. There's like a general feeling here of being unsure what makes you happy and like what you're actually striving for. I think this comes back to, for a lot of you guys, you have to recognize here that you've been, like I said, Seven of Pentacles, you're pouring into your life and you're pouring into the things that are demanding of you for so long that I feel as if you've lost sight of why you were pouring into it in the first place. Do you know what I mean here? That's how this sort of feels to me. Like, you know, I don't know if you guys have ever... I had a friend who worked in a hospital, and she said to me one time that there were some doctors that were so mean. It makes you wonder, like, did they lose sight of why they became a doctor? Because they became a doctor to help someone. Helping someone by being mean to them is not really helping them at all. Do you know what I mean? I think some of you guys, you deserve the opportunity to sit with yourself and really ask yourself, like, what was the goal here? Why did I do this? What am I doing here? Okay, because I think some of you guys, again, we live in late stage capitalism. Life is difficult. Life is very hard for a lot of us right now, guys. Okay, allow yourself some grace here to acknowledge that you've lost sight of it, but then come back to it, okay? In the past, you do have the Fool here. I think some of you guys have, like I said, it feels as if August was a little bit, tumultuous for you for some reason. It feels as if you had a little bit more of a difficult August than you were really anticipating. Because with the Fool here, there's almost this feeling of, now the Fool talks about taking a leap of faith. But for you, Taurus, it feels like the leap of faith that you took was just simply getting through the month. I don't really know how else to describe that. Not explain it, but like describe it to you. The energy here. Like, it's a little, I'm going to be mean for a second. It's a little ho-hum. It's a little Ebenezer Scrooge, if I'm being honest. And I feel like that, and I'm not saying that you were ho-hum, but the energy of the month was a little ho-hum for you. Maybe there were a lot of setbacks. Maybe there was a lot of like some personal drama going on. But it feels like coming out of that month here, you know, Ace of Cups, Hierophant, Page of Swords. Oh, I'm understanding this. I think some of you guys leaned very heavily into your friends, lovers, communities here because the month was so ho-hum that you're a little afraid now. You know, coming out of that, I want to remind you guys that love is not a finite resource. Okay? Like, I don't have just 3 tablespoons of love to give today. Do you know what I mean? I think some of you guys are, you have this fear that if you lean too heavily on people, they won't love you anymore. Now, my guides want me to explain something to you. There's a very big difference between love and what I refer to as spoons, the spoon theory in psychology. It's like we all have a spoon, a spoon drawer, and it's like in that drawer is only X amount of spoons. So on any given day, depending on what's going on in each of our own individual lives, I may not have the spoons to come up with a solution for a friend or get my friend out of a problem. But I will always have love for my friends. You know, on days where I don't have spoons, I tell my friends, I'm like, hey, I don't really have the spoon to solve it, but if you just want to like come over and just talk, we can. You know, and I think some of you guys need to remember that. Like, as friends, you're not here. The love that you hold for people isn't finite. There's not a set amount of love per container. You know what I mean here? So remember that as you're moving through your own life too. It's the same for you. You know, if you don't have the spoons, but you have a friend in crisis, offer what you can. It doesn't mean you don't love them. Okay? Very important for you this month, Taurus. In your near future, you do have the Star. So I do feel like we are still focused on healing. Like I said, this month you are, like I said, you're going after some very deep shadow work. You're working on some very like deep, I almost want to say like cellular levels of healing this month. But it's also bringing you closer to your wish fulfillment with the Star. You know, I think some of you guys are going to remember why you're doing things in the first place. You are going to catch a glimpse of what the original motivation was, what the original goal was. Sorry, I almost got chopped in the throat there. And I think that's going to empower you. It's going to remind you, oh wait, this is what I was going after in the first place. Yeah, 7 of Cups, 5 of Pentacles, 10 of Wands in the reverse. Taurus, I want to remind you here that just because you put something down doesn't mean you can't pick it back up. Okay? I think some of you guys, I understand that you're frustrated with yourself. I understand that you're frustrated with life, with the current circumstances everywhere. I fully understand that. What I'm going to say, this is going to sound a little abrasive. Being frustrated with everything does not give you the right to bully yourself, to be mean to yourself, okay? I think a lot of you guys moving into the near future here, that's the position we're talking about, you're coming into a place of just more kindness, more understanding. I tell my clients and my collectives and my friends all the time that we can only expect our best from ourselves. And our best is always changing, you know? Some days my best is I'm up and out of bed by 7:30 in the morning and all my errands are done by 9. Other days my best is I don't get up till 10. Okay, your best is always shifting. So you got to be a little bit more lenient with yourself here. Okay? It's I'm reminding you of this because you have a tendency when things are not going your way to self-abandon. Don't It's funny. I almost said don't do that this month. It's a lot easier said than done. Um do your best to be patient and kind and understanding with yourself this month. And understand that times are difficult. Things are very difficult for a lot of people right now. You are allowed to be operating at 40%, 50%, 30%. Show yourself that grace. Show yourself that kindness, okay? How you view yourself is the Wheel of Fortune. It is in the reverse. I don't love that, Taurus. I think, like I said, you guys are feeling stuck this month. It's like as you're progressing into these, like, more difficult, more demanding shadow work emotions, you're feeling like, oh, wait, I haven't really made headway here. I want to also remind you that progress and success are very personal, okay? Someone else doesn't get to decide whether or not you're successful. Someone else doesn't get to look at you and decide whether or not you've made progress. That's you, babe. Okay? Stop holding yourself to impossibly high standards that you know you will never reach. That's self-harm. Okay? You've got the Emperor here again. You've got the Eight of Swords, and you've got the Six of Pentacles. I think one of the biggest blocks here for you, Taurus, is that you're not recognizing your own success. You're not recognizing your own progress, the moves you've made, how good things are looking for you. Okay, this is very much reading as I'm recognizing the places where I feel like I'm coming short, and I'm not seeing the places where I've been victorious. Okay, take stock of the successes that you've had. Take stock of where things have gone right instead of paying so much attention to where you think things have gone wrong. Okay? Because that's not helping you. Again, with the Emperor, you're going to be stepping into some very powerful energy this month. I almost said this week. Maybe this week. You know, you're really taking charge and taking control. So take control of your own kindness. How much generosity can you show to yourself? How much grace can you show to yourself right now? Okay? Because you need it. Your superpower is the Chariot, which is beautiful. The Chariot is fast forward movement. It's victory. It's the fastest card in the deck. So, Taurus, even though you feel like you're not making headway here, clearly you are. It's your superpower. You know, you're charging through. And you're doing it, you know, you're making progress here, even if you can't see it. And little progress adds up. Keep that in mind. Okay, it's like a lot of people consider me very heavily tattooed. I did not get all of my tattoos in one night. I've been getting tattooed now for the past 10 years. Little steps, little things. Maybe I do the moth, and then I did the background, you know, and then I did this arm, and then I did this hand, and then I did these fingers. You know, allow yourself the understanding of it's not going to happen overnight, and small progress is better than no progress, okay? You have the Hermit, the Three of Swords, and Judgment in the reverse. Babe, I'm going to be a little mean here. Your biggest bully in the room right now is you. I think you think that it's kind of like the example my guides give me all the time, or not all the time, but when I have to talk about this example's really obvious, but Fat Amy from Pitch Perfect, when she's like, oh, I call myself Fat Amy, so, you know, twig bitches like you don't do it behind my back. You think that by being mean to yourself, judgment in reverse, by judging yourself, by being unkind, it's going to create a world where if someone else is unkind to you, it won't hurt as bad. It hurts worse when we're unkind to ourselves. Because at the end of the night, I go to bed with myself, and every morning I wake up with myself. If I am not my own biggest cheerleader, then who is? Okay? That's what you guys have to start really trying to understand here, is that you have to be kind to yourself. Okay? You're the only person that's going to be with you for the rest of your life. In every moment, everywhere you go. Okay? Your hope is the Four of Swords. I think you are a little bit hopeful for a rest period here. You know, Four of Swords is rest, relax, recuperate. It came out earlier for you as well. I think you guys do need to take a little bit of a step away. It feels like you're looking at everything like this close to your face. Taurus, if you're looking at everything that close to your face, you're not going to see anything clearly. Everything becomes blurry, okay? It's part of why we don't read tarot up here. We read it down here, okay? Because if I can give myself that vantage point, that bird's eye view, I can actually see what's going on, okay? You need to zone out a little bit this month. Zoom out, I mean. Not zone out. Don't disassociate. Zoom out, okay? Because you are going to need the rest, okay? This is a demanding month for you. Oh, Taurus. You're being so harsh with yourself this month. Why? I think this is what you're tackling. It's like you're tackling the inner critic, and they're very mean to you. Yeah, you've got the Seven of Swords, you've got the King of Swords, and you've got the Five of Cups. Something else I want you to acknowledge here, Taurus, is that you've grown. You have this really bad habit of looking back at everything from the past. Five of Cups is here again, so like I said, and judging it. And assuming you haven't grown, nothing has changed, and it's just a bully moment. You know, it's like you take the time out of your day, Seven of Swords, King of Swords, to judge every single thing you do, and then to drag yourself down because of it, drag yourself through the mud. And for what? What does it give you, Taurus? You have to start, like, interrogating these thought processes and these patterns. What is it giving you? What is it doing for you? Is it just habit? Or am I protecting myself from something? By being mean to me, am I protecting myself from rejection? And if that's true, then I have a fear of rejection. And if that's true, it means that I've been rejecting myself the entire time. The only way you're going to get through a fear of rejection is through radical self-acceptance. Radical self-acceptance. Okay? I need to make that very clear. It has to be radical. It cannot be, oh, I accept myself on Tuesdays and Thursdays. No. I accept myself every single day. I accept myself in every phase of my life. I accept myself in every minute of every day. That's how you have to counter self-rejection. By radically accepting yourself, okay? Your outcome here is the High Priestess. So I do feel like some of you guys are going to be accessing intuition. You're like a deeper sense of intuition this month. High Priestess is the intuitive voice. She's also the psychic sign. You could have Pisces in your chart. But with that High Priestess, I do feel like you guys are... You're listening to yourselves, I think, for the first time in a really long time. Some of you I'm literally seeing in my mind's eye other tarot cards. So some of you may be picking up tarot. Maybe you are readers yourself and you're just now like coming back to it. But you are sort of finding your own spiritual presence again. Ace of Wands, and it's going to enlighten you, but it's also going to excite you. Yeah, Knight of Cups, Ten of Swords in the reverse, and the Ace of Wands. Yeah, I think, Taurus, as you move through the month towards the crescendo at the end, you're going to have a deeper passion for yourself again. There's going to be a deeper sense of loyalty to the self, loyalty to your passion, loyalty to your craft, and loyalty to your drive and your story here, okay? And I feel like this is a really, really big paradigm shift for you. And I'm also hearing it's really needed, okay? You've got to start rooting for yourself here. That's where this feels like it's taking you. Like the culmination of your effort in this month is getting to a place where you support yourself unparalleled. Everything you do, you support yourself in. You don't judge yourself, but also you're excited for your own life again, and you're excited for your own growth, right? All right, let's get you an oracle card. The deck I'm using is the Angelarium. This is my favorite oracle deck to date. I use it all the time. If you've watched literally any video by me, practically ever, you've probably seen this deck. So, Taurus, let's see what your advice is. What's the advice for Taurus for September, please? What's the advice for Taurus for September, please? What's the advice for Taurus, please? Thank you. Period. Samyaza, Angel of Pride. Period. I think he's the first one. I think he's 19. 19, for those of us into numerology. Okay. When this card is revealed, consider the ways in which you have control over your own dominion and mastery. You have the power to give labels to the features of your life, and with that comes the power to influence those objects, places, relationships, and other aspects of your world. It may be valuable to consider whether that power is wielded responsibly or with selfish intent. Samyaza always reminds me, quite literally, that my world is mine. My domain is my own, my world is mine, the outcome of my world is mine, and I have a lot more power than I think I do, okay? Taurus, I am going to end your reading there. That is your monthly forecast. I hope this was helpful for you. If this reading resonates for you or my reading style resonates with you, do consider liking and subscribing. We are on the road to 200 subscribers, which is exciting. If you guys would like to interact with me on a live basis, I do go live 3 days a week on Twitch. So you can find me Wednesday and Friday from 6 to 8 p.m. EST, as well as Saturday from 4 to 6 p.m. EST. So, Taurus, I leave you with this. I hope to see you over on Twitch, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye!